We give you what you ask for. We've done several body parts already, but now it's time for the inevitable quadriceps. The quads, the front of the leg. How do you maximize the size of the quads, the stimulus to fatigue ratio, so more stimulus, but not getting as tired as possible from it. So the most growth for the most efficient movements. How do you get those details in the quads that are so known for seeing them on stage, in my own pictures and a lot of other champions on a bodybuilding stage? How do you get those quad muscles to show all of them individually? As you can see, I'm sweating quite a lot because I've already done some leg movements. Even though I'm sweating and it's a hot day today, I'm still gonna be here in the gym telling you guys exactly what I do to grow my own quads. Let's go. All right, we've arrived at the first quad movement called a leg extension. So the first thing you want to do is adjust the leg extension so that it's all the way to the back. So you want to sit back as far as possible, at least so that your knee is aligned with the point of joint point basically of this movement, so it moves along nicely. And what you then want to do is make sure you get a proper leg extension machine like this one and put the pad that goes over your leg as far back as possible to create that stretch at the bottom. So when I put my legs behind here, you can see right away there's tension on the quads because the stack is not hitting the bottom yet. So the moment you go up, you can go all the way up and you can see here already these muscles contracting, these lines going all the way to the hips. That is what you want, guys. So go all the way to the bottom, maximize your stretch, hold on to these handles to sit firmly in the seat, go all the way up and make sure you control the motion, but don't do this. So don't go all the way down and like here and then go down again. No, no, no. This is a leg extension. You want to go all the way up like this. Boom. Tom Platt style. Make sure, boom, to contract the quads hard, because again, this is the only motion, the only movement the tension is maximized with a straight leg. You want to maximize that benefit on this movement. So the rep range, I would say at least 10 to 20, but make sure you hit the full range of motion, stretch and contraction. Guys, it's important to warm up with this movement because your knees here are under a lot of tension. But I like to do this at the beginning as exercise 1 to warm up the knees, and even smarter would be to start out with the calves first, then the hamstrings, and then the quads, in my opinion, to warm up the knees without any tension. So when you're doing this movement, then blood is already warming up that area, so you can do this movement without any pain at all. And one more thing to prevent knee pain is make sure your hip is aligned with the knee joint. So don't be too wide, don't be too narrow, be exactly aligned with the hip, and that way the tension is going through this hinge joint as it is designed to work. Time to die. All right, so the second one is going to be a squat movement. Now this is going to be a hack squat because it's in my plan right now, but it can be a free squat machine, it can be a Smith machine squat, it can be a belt squat or a barbell squat. They're all pretty much the same, but these following points are the most important to remember. The most important point is that you should always go as deep as possible. The stretch here is now the most important. Remember, with the leg extension, most of the tension was at the top with a straight leg. Here, most of the tension will be at the bottom with your legs all the way dig down deep to the ground, and that's where you want to go. So go literally down as deep as you can, but some people think they're not flexible enough. However, what you want to do, find a foot stance a width of your stance that allows you to go all the way down. Some people think you have to have a very narrow stance to target the quads, like the quad sweep. No guys, the only way to target the quad sweep and all other quad muscles is to achieve full depth. The deeper you go, the deeper the stretch will be experienced by each of the quad muscles, including the side of the quad sweep. So let me show you. So simply, a basic rule would be to put your feet a bit wider than hip width and point your toes a little bit to the outside. And then as you go all the way down, you keep going and going and going and going. And this is literally my physical limit. Now these quads are stretched to the max. Then you go all the way up, like this, but don't pause here because right now there's no tension. So go all the way down, feel the full stretch, and go up, and go straight down again, like this. Constant tension, maximum growth. In terms of rep range, 8 to 12, maybe 15, but don't go below 8. And also the amount of reps, the amount of sets, can be 2, can be 3, or can even be 4 if the feels amazing. So go all the way down, control the negative, feel that stretch here, push upwards. And what you also want to look out for if you go all the way down, the heel should remain on the platform right here. If it leaves the platform, put your feet up a bit higher to allow your ankles to be flexible enough. But if you train calves at the beginning of the workout, you already make the ankles more flexible. So that's one tip from me to you. Train the calves first, make the ankles flexible. You can go deeper, better for the quads, a win-win-win scenario. Now another thing, this is going to be my third working set, but now I lightened the load a little bit to keep the quality of the reps high. So remember this, if the first 2 sets are going to be very difficult to get all the way down with proper form and still do above 8 to 10 reps, simply lower the weight and search for the stretch. Be prepared to do less weight if you want to go for the stretch, because ultimately the stretch will cause the most growth for muscle, and then you have to use less weight, so less injury potential for the tendons, the joints, so less stress on those, only on the muscle where you want it. Next. All right, the next one is going to be a leg press. So we just did an extension, a squat, and now it's a pressing movement. Again, doesn't really matter which pressing movement. It can be a leg press, horizontal or under an angle, or a unilateral leg press, but we are going to do this one right here. The nice thing about this one is this plate, it moves along with your ankle flexibility, so you can go quite deep without the butt leaving the seat, because you want to avoid the butt leaving the seat, because then the tension from the quads will actually go to the glutes and the lower back. So what you want to do here is do this unilaterally with one leg. You can do it with both legs, but one leg is a bit better to do in this way. So you put one foot, usually your weakest leg, on one side. Then you can basically hold on to these handles, go down as far as you can, just like that, and go back up. And here you have the option when you go up to really contract the quad, but you don't have to, just like with the hack squat. You can go all the way down and go back up to keep constant tension right here. But make sure you stretch. Here, feel the tension. You go up, keep the tension on the quad, and go down again. And the same, of course, you match the reps with the strong side, so you will never end up with a weak body part or an imbalanced body. Now, as you can see here, ideally, you want to place your foot as low as possible on the platform without your heel leaving the platform. That way, your knee can experience as much flexion as possible for the maximum stretch on the quads. So yes, these are only 3 movements that I personally like to do to make my quads grow as big as possible and the quality to be as high as possible. You might think, why only 3 movements? For the upper body there's more. Well, for the quads they are a big muscle, but if you train them in a lot of different ways, you will actually not make progress on any of those movements. In my opinion, what you should do is find the best movements for you. There are more exercises than this, but this is what I personally like to do to have won the Arnold Classic and to do my very best at the Mr. Olympia. Let me know down in the comments what you think, what your own favorite quad movements are, and there's a lot more coming, so don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell button, and of course, don't forget to stay golden.
Yeah, let's see how you do under pressure. Oh, yeah, I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the